Hello and welcome to my channel, Haylee Marie Vintage. Today I'm doing another chatty video. These are just great because they help me get a little bit of a break for this holiday season so I can spend it with friends and family. So today I thought in this chatty video it would be fun to go over what to expect from my channel next year. I have 7 sewing projects that are on my list for next year, and then I have kind of 3 other miscellaneous thoughts about my channel. And also I feel like I have gained a lot of new subscribers recently, so hello, and I feel like this is probably helpful to tell you what to expect from my channel. First, I'm going to talk about my sewing projects and then the other miscellaneous nonsense. Yes, I have a spreadsheet. I actually have my sewing projects planned out through mid-June right now. I have to do the other half of the year still. That probably won't happen until like March-ish. I'm a planner. It's just the way I am, but yes, I have a spreadsheet to reference. So the first thing you can expect sewing-wise from my channel in the next year is I have a couple upcycling projects on my plate. I have a bed sheet that I bought that's from the 40s. That's really beautiful that I want to upcycle into a really lovely gown. That will come pretty early. I think that should come as early as February. And I'm really excited about that. It'll be just an interesting opportunity. I have not done a ton of upcycling. I early on in this channel did make a few things out of sheets, but I just found that sheets are sensory issues for me. So they don't make good clothes for me and I won't wear what I make out of them. However, this sheet is a like cold rayon, so I'm not worried about the sensory things being an issue, and it has really lovely trim. I can't wait to show you that project. I haven't sewn it yet, but I can't wait to show it to you. I'm sure I will get it done. And then the other upcycling project I have on my list, I have been collecting all of these like tea towels, doilies, like lots of things for a really long time now in hopes of like kind of having a project to bring them all together. And I finally figured it out. I'm going to take heavy inspiration from a brand. I'll put it right here called Philly Boo. And they are a brand that they use ethical source labor, so their dresses are quite expensive. And their dresses like mimic the embroidery of tea towels and things like that. Their pieces are going to look much more put together than mine because theirs is made of one standard thing and they hire embroiderers and all that jazz. And in this case, I am going to take all these embroidered pieces across decades and put it together into a dress that is inspired by Philly Boo. So it will be very different looking. Look them up. Again, I'll have their name here. I'll have a link down below. I just don't want to put their content in my video because it's copyrighted, but I am very excited about this because I've been trying to figure out what to do with all these things I've collected over the years, and I finally like had that light bulb moment and I'm really excited. And then I also am hoping to be able to afford a Philly Boo dress next year because I think they're so beautiful. The other thing I'm going to go on in January, actually, I'm going to make my first coat, or I guess technically my second coat. I made a raincoat last spring or summer, and I would also like to try making a wool coat. I have this wool that I got at my local creative reuse center that I would really like to use for this project. I think it will be a lot of fun, or not fun, I think it will cause a lot of growth. I'm going to use, Gertie has a princess coat pattern that I'm going to use for that, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to turn out great, and it's kind of a good practice run because this wool was so cheap. So it'll be a good practice run for hopefully making maybe even 2 coats next year. We'll see if we get that wild. Another thing on my list, I bought hella denim when I was in Rome, and I still have all that denim. I plan on using it on this channel. I have quite a few denim themed projects planned. I would like to make a pair of jeans. I'm having a really hard time finding jeans that fit. I also don't really love a ton of stretch in my jeans because I just feel like it gets loose and weird in the wash. I just would like to make my own pair of jeans because I know they'll fit and I know I'll like them. So that's a goal. That's probably not going to happen until the fall. Another denim related is I want to make, so they're, I believe, Faded Glory. They're a very specific pair of 1970s vintage rainbow overalls, and they're really cool. I think these are great. I have not seen them come up in a size that would work for me, and they're like $400. So instead, I think I'm going to venture on making a pair using the overall pattern I used last year, because I also would like it to be a wider legged overall because they just make me feel really glamorous and they make me feel queer, and if I'm going to do rainbow overalls, I want to feel as gay as possible. So that is a plan with that. I'm very excited about those. Those will be coming, I think, like March or April, and I can't wait because I'm going to wear them all the time. I'm in such an overall obsession moment that I absolutely can't wait to do these. Those won't be a learning curve on the pattern, but I am going to have to learn how to embroider using my machine, so that'll be interesting and hopefully fun, and hopefully I don't screw it all up. The other thing I have planned next year is I have some really fancy silk that I bought while in Rome. It is an Eli Sab silk, and it was like 60 euros a yard. It's the most expensive fabric I've ever bought. And I have been thinking about what I want to do with it, and I think I want to do a 1930s evening gown. So that will probably come May-ish. I would like to have it done in time for a friend's wedding. And speaking of those friends' wedding, I also want to make a special gown for myself for their wedding. These are two of my closest friends, and I'm so happy they're getting married, and it's going to be a real celebration, and I'm really happy for them, and I'm also really excited, and I want to make something really special for their wedding. For myself, I did tell them I wouldn't make their wedding garments because that's too much stress. So I'm gonna be selfish, I guess. And then the other thing I have on my list is, of course, I will be making more gunny sacks like dresses. I have a couple thoughts. I have a few fabrics that I want to use for gunny sacks next year. I don't know yet if I'm gonna make those fabrics on or off camera. However, what I do know I want to do for sure next year is I've made so many of the original gunny sacks patterns now that I feel like I understand how these patterns break down to look like a gunny sacks. So I think it would be really fun to take like a more common 70s pattern and show you guys how you can basically take any pattern and kind of cut it up and make it look like a gunny sacks, so that way it's just a more accessible dress for more people, because gunny sacks are also really limited in size as well as being really expensive. So if learning how to make your own gunny sacks from any pattern interests you, definitely stay tuned for that. I think that's actually a video I'm really excited about. I don't do a ton of teaching on this channel, so I think this will be really fun, and hopefully you guys can learn how to do it for all of you who want that gunny sacks look for yourself. So I'm really excited for that. And then I have I think I want to make a fully white gunny sacks. Not a wedding dress, a fully white one. Actually, my friends keep saying they want me to wear a wedding dress to their wedding, which I'm not going to do, even though they keep telling me I should. I'm not, and I will not wear a white gunny sacks to their wedding, but I might make a gay gunny sacks for their wedding. I don't know. The other thing I was debating next year, but I'm just curious if people have interest, is I'm debating doing one of the YouTube monthly subscriptions, or over on my Ko-fi, where you would be able to see my videos 1 week early, and then you would also have exclusive ability to vote on certain projects or give certain feedback on channel. Honestly, I can't really, I don't have the time to do anything more than that for a paid tier. So let me know if you'd be interested in that and what you would pay. Let me know down below. The reason I'm leaning Ko-fi is because they don't take a fee. YouTube takes 30% of whatever you pay me, and so I could actually probably make it cheaper over on Ko-fi. And as far as pacing on this channel for sewing next year, you can expect a video every other week. There might be an occasional where you might get 3 videos in a row, but that's gonna be pretty rare. So I've talked about this, but doing 6 weeks of spooky sewing was exhausting last year. I still feel like I'm recovering from it, and it's been months now. I just don't have a work schedule. I do work a 9 to 5. I don't have a work schedule to be able to be putting out a sewing video every single week. So much like it was most of the year until the end of the year, where I crammed in a ton of sewing projects, but more like the beginning of the year, where it was a sewing project every other week, and then the other weeks were other content that I felt like producing. This year, I would love any of your ideas on what other type of content you love to see to me. I already have a hair tutorial planned because you guys have asked me about how I do my hair, which is hilarious to me, by the way, because I consider myself very bad at hair, but I will deliver. You asked. But yeah, any other ideas you guys might have. I know I'm gonna have probably a few thrift with me's, a few vintage hauls. I'll always be showing you guys the stuff that I buy for random projects online. And I guess on that note, my goal next year is to sew mostly from my stash. My goal is to only buy new fabric when I have a really big inspiration. Otherwise, my goal is to stick to what I already have, because I have three giant bins of fabric I need to get through. And I would really like to go into next year. One of my other goals is to go into next year with a negative stash use, if that makes sense. Sewers, we all talk about our stashes and how we're trying to use our stash. My goal next year is to sew more fabric than I buy, so make my stash go smaller. That's the goal for next year. So you'll see a lot of stash projects. Definitely keep an eye out on the community tab, where a lot of times I'll pair a bunch of fabrics and patterns and have you guys vote on which ones you actually want to see on the channel, because some I will make off camera. And the other thing you should expect to see from this channel, last year I kind of dabbled in some travel blogs. I do travel quite a bit. It's a huge thing I love to do, and so I would just say expect to see some travel vlogs. I know for sure I'm going to Bangkok, Phuket, and Seoul, as well as Palm Springs and LA. I'm sure I'll make some trips back to Denver to see my family. I probably will go down to Portland to see some friends, as well as Astoria, Oregon. And I plan on just vlogging all of those because I really enjoy them. They don't usually perform the best for me, but I love them. And this channel, I always say this channel is about me. This channel is about what I want. I don't really have any interest in serving the algorithm. So as a result, I don't, which means I kind of put out some random content. I'm also hoping to make a trip to South America, but we will see. I have to find somebody who will go with me. I don't love international tripping alone. And my thought is if I can't find somebody to go, I'm thinking Peru, but it's not set in stone. So if you have a South American country you love traveling to, also tell me down below. Because yeah, I'm not completely sold on Peru, but I do think it would be cool. Where was I going with this? Oh, my alternative if I can't find anybody to go to Peru with me is to do an East Coast road trip. I have tons of friends along the East Coast that I would really, really, really love to see or meet in real life. A lot of these are people I've known on the internet for years now, and I think it just would be a lot of fun. So one of those two things is what I'm gonna do. The reason I have all this time to travel next year is I have stayed at my job long enough to take a sabbatical. So I now have 6 weeks of paid time off that I get to figure out what I want to do with. And like, I'm so excited. So yeah, stay tuned for even more travel videos, I guess, or videos of kind of like my life. The other thing I definitely want to do is I want to do like what my week looks like as like somebody who works a full-time job as well as being a content producer. It's a very hard thing to juggle. I'm always very curious about other people who juggle it, how they do it. All sorts of content interests me. So yeah, if you have any ideas or things you'd like to see from me, let me know down below. I'm also thinking of doing, I have all these sewing pattern books, like catalogs from the 40s that are really beautiful that I was thinking of, like maybe once a month I do a bonus video where I just take you through one of those books or something like that, because it would be relatively low lift for me. Would love your thoughts on that. Oh no, those are all just my different percolating thoughts for this channel. Thank you so much to all my subscribers. It has been a huge year for me. I've pretty much doubled the size of my channel. I know it's still a small channel, but honestly, if you haven't been around here long, the other thing is like my goal of my channel is not to grow and get like millions of subscribers. My goal is really to have a community I enjoy, and hopefully that you enjoy each other and that I can spark creativity and ideas. I like my full-time job. I don't have any plans to leave my full-time job. Therefore, I don't need YouTube to be my full-time job. So growth is not a requirement of my channel. And so while the growth this year has been really, really, really cool, I don't plan on having like a growth at all costs type of thing. I talked about this in my last chatty video, kind of about last year, like my favorite and least favorite pieces I made, and basically how I feel like anytime I tried to serve the algorithm, I wasn't happy with what I made. So I just feel like the longer I'm on YouTube, the more I learn that I really just need to be making content that makes me happy, as opposed to something that is supposed to make some AI algorithm system happy. So that's the goal of this channel. That's what you can for sure, if nothing else, you can expect to see from me next year. It's me making content that I love and I believe in. And my other thoughts with that, starting like a monthly subscription, I don't plan on paywalling any of my content itself. It would just be getting it early. I'm a very privileged individual, and so I don't want to gate any of my content. And again, the point of my YouTube channel is not to become my source of income. That's actually kind of my nightmare. So because I'm kind of a very organized person, I always have those videos done about a week or two ahead of when they actually come out. So if you would be interested in seeing stuff earlier, I can definitely offer that. That, I guess, wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back with a sewing project next week. Thank you for indulging my slight 2-week break from sewing, and you will see, like I said, lots of really cool projects from me in the next year. And again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye!